You never know exactly when that week is going to come, but if you're not in the market during that week, you will have missed that move. So Bitcoin from 30,000 to 300,000 can happen pretty quickly. I think right now, also another wave that we're seeing is we're seeing the collapse of the third wave of major frauds in crypto with the VC money, the VC coins, the Web3 coins. This is the third major wave of fraud. It seems to be breaking up at this time with the Luna scam and the Solana scam and all these. Ethereum is basically a scam.
Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies plunged once again, and two of the world's biggest cryptocurrency platforms restricted activity as the market meltdown continued its pace. Bitcoin price has dipped below its 200-week moving average at $22,500 to hit a low of $20,800. The next crucial support levels to pay attention to are the 2017 all-time high at nearly $20,000, and the 2019 peak at nearly $14,000, and the psychological $10,000 level dollar. Hello and welcome to Wealthy Value. In today's video, Bitcoin maximalist and host of Orange Pill podcast Max Keiser updates about the possible reasons behind Bitcoin's current market drawdown, why Bitcoin doesn't correlate with any other asset class, what makes Bitcoin massively undervalued, and when is hyper-bitcoinization taking place. Make sure to stick around till the end of this video where Max Keiser reveals the possibility of Bitcoin price hitting a six-figure range. If you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the post notifications. Let's dive right into the video.
The price up towards 70,000, I think, was telegraphing a lot of inflation to come, right? So Bitcoin's markets are discounting mechanisms. And now that inflation manifested and people are talking about it and it's front page news, you buy in the rumor, sell in the news, right? So now the pullback is back to this level and it's building a nice base. And before it makes that big assault to another price range, I think this price range and this era in Bitcoin, I call the Michael Saylor era. So Michael Saylor came in roughly 2 years ago. He started buying it at 10,000. I think MicroStrategy started buying it at 20,000. They've got a cost basis of 30,700, and which is roughly this range, this price range, the Michael Saylor era, MicroStrategy era. And I think we're coming to the end of that era, and we're going to enter a new era. You're going to have the CBDCs come along from the central banks. That'll be paired with maybe a sovereign wealth fund, $1 trillion sovereign wealth fund putting $100 billion into Bitcoin. Right, so that'll be a new era. The Bitcoin price can jump very quickly, very fast into the six-figure range. Well, this is, I think, one of the bigger drawdowns. We've had, I think, 85% drawdowns. We had from 30 back to $1, 1,200 back to 200, 20,000 down to 3,800, now 70,000 down to 30,000. And at this particular juncture, on this particular one, because, as Stacy points out, the main developing crew, the core developers of Bitcoin themselves were in revolt. And they were talking about hard forking and the big blockers, which wasn't resolved until 2017. But those types of issues were already being discussed, and those would be existential threats to the success of Bitcoin. So the downside was more palpable. The risk reward on Bitcoin right now is one of the most favorable ever. At the moment, it's become almost a mature asset class, if you can believe it. But I mean, it's getting closer to being certainly an established asset class, and you have an established group of people owning it. And I would say, this question comes up, and the answer is that if you're buying Bitcoin based on price, then you're missing the big picture. So let's play this out, Bitcoin. The first scenario you've got right now, Bitcoin's at 30,000. It's worth, $10, $20 million a coin at some point. So you got a lot of people that would complain about this, like the Christine Lagardes of the world or the Nouriel Roubinis. They go to the regulators or whomever, the press, and they complain. Like, look, this asset, I'm going to complain about it. It's worth millions, but, it's selling for 30,000, and they just complain and they talk about it. Then the second group you have, oh, it's at 30,000, it's worth millions. But they're not going to bother buying it at 30,000. That would be your Peter Schiffs of the world. who I told to buy Bitcoin when it was $1 and $5 and $10 and $50. But even though the case was clear that it's a new asset class and it could be worth millions, he didn't even want to put up $5. So that's the Peter Schiff crowd. Then you have the third group, which is where we were, where it's like, you know what, this is a new asset class. It's going to be worth millions. I'll put, I'll buy it at $5. I'm happy with that at the risk reward there. And that's still true today. And at 30,000, it's still dirt cheap compared to where it's going. But you still have people who are going to complain about it, like Liz Warren or somebody that, oh my God, I just can't believe that this thing is out there. Or you have people that are just not going to spend the time to understand it. The Peter Schiff still doesn't own it. And then you have the folks that have put in a few hours of work and said, hey, this is worth millions of dollars. I'm going to buy it at 30. I'll buy it at 20. I'll buy it at 60. I'll buy it at 100,000. Doesn't make any difference. It's, they kind of go together. I don't think you can, there's no correlation. Bitcoin is not really correlated with anything. It temporarily might correlate with NASDAQ. It temporarily might correlate with commodities. But ultimately it doesn't correlate with anything. It's on its own vector and it's just heading to a much higher place. And any correlation in any short period of time is more coincidental than it is fact-based or fundamental-based. So I think that's where we're at. I like the idea of having unconfiscatable wealth, and people will come up to me all the time and say, Max, I have $50 in Bitcoin. And it's the first time in their lives they've had unconfiscatable savings, unconfiscatable wealth, and they're building on it. They're adding to it. And they're happy about it, and it gives you a sense of agency, a sense of pride. They know that their president has been instrumental in part of this whole revolution. And on the sovereign level, of course, the country is squaring off against the IMF and other world organizations, which is, I think, being applauded by everybody who sees the threat of these supranational world organizations being overreaching. And that's becoming a greater problem on a daily basis. And they see what El Salvador is doing, and they applaud it. And now that is spreading into the region and around the world. We've had experience in the VC business now going back. We made our first Bitcoin venture capital investment back in 2013. And we have several funds, Bitcoin Capital 1, 2, and 3, Heisenberg Capital. So these have made 15, 16 investments in Bitcoin companies over the years. We have 6 or 7 unicorns that have come out of that. Like Kraken, for example, we got in at a $5 million valuation. I think they're going to look into 10 billion or so. So we have a pretty good track record in this space and picking winners, I guess you could say. So, and we've already made a couple of investments, and we're looking to do, I think, cap out at 10 million on this round, on this fund. And the theme is hyper-bitcoinization.
So, when do you think Bitcoin will hit a 6-figure range? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.